This is RD Sharma Solution, Class 12, Chapter 2, Functions MCQ Multiple Choice Questions we are taking. So here we have, if the function f is from R to R, be such that fx equals x minus greatest integer function x. This greatest integer function denotes the greatest integer less than or equal to x, which is actually a floor function. This is essentially a floor function, that is, we'll always take the lower value of integer. So this f inverse x we have to find out. So f inverse x equals y. So how to do this? We'll just do the normal way. But the scenario here in this question is that the range will always be 0 to 1 of this particular equation. Let us take a value from between 2 and 1. If you take 2 minus greatest integer function of 2, so this will give you 2 minus 2, that is 0. 1 if you take the greatest integer function of 1, because it is an integer, it will give you the same number. So 1 minus 1, this is going to be 0. So now take any other value between 1 and 2, say 1.8 and 1.2. When you take 1.8, it will be 1.8 minus 1.8. Greatest integer function of 1.8, and as I said, that it will be a floor function. So this will be 1. So 1.8 minus 1 will be equal to 0.8. Takes 1.2, same logic. 1.2 minus 1, because 1.2 greatest integer function is 1, floor function. So this is going to give you 0.2. So this is always vary from 0, it goes up to 1, it will never reach 1, but it will start with 0 and it goes up to, just up to 1. So it will always be between 0 and 1. So the range is 0 and 1. But if you see the question very closely, the function is fx equals x minus this greatest integer function, but the function is from R to R. This is R to R. So this is real number, the range, and codomain. The codomain is a real number, but the range is only 0 to 1 as I just suggested. So the function is not on 2. So in order to have an f inverse, that is an inverse, we need to have the function as bijective. Since this function is not on 2, this is not bijective, that is f inverse won't exist. This will not be there. So our f inverse x, whichever will be there, it will not be there. So the answer is C, not defined. This is, in my edition, it is question number 38. It may vary in different editions. So f 1 to infinity to 2 to infinity. So domain and range is given. Domain is 1 to infinity. Range is 2 to infinity. This is very important because you will see just now. This domain and range is important. And the function fx, which is x plus 1 by x, we will be needing this domain and range in a short while. But the function fx is x plus 1 by x. So f inverse x we need to find out, and you already know how to find out f inverse x, equate it to y. So you have to do fy equals x, that is you have to put value y in this actual function and then equate it to x, take y on one side and other things on the right hand side. So I am showing it here only. I am placing in place of x y. So y plus 1 by y is equal to x. So just take the LCM, y square plus 1 by y equals x, multiply, that is cross multiply. So ultimately you have to take y on one side, others on right hand side. So you have y square, I'm taking xy on the left hand side, y square minus xy plus 1. Now this is a quadratic equation kind of thing, but we need a perfect square. So what is the perfect square? The coefficient of y to be divided by 2 and square it and add and subtract. So whatever is in front of x, take divided by 2, take the square, that is b square by 4, and add and subtract. Then only you are going to get the perfect square. So the coefficient of y is x here, So this is actually minus x, but we'll deal with the x which we have to divide it by 2 and now square it. So it will be x square by 4. So x square by 4 has to be added and x square by 4 has to be subtracted. This we have done to make it as a perfect square. So in order to make a perfect square, see, y square, now xy is there, so you can just add a 2 in the numerator denominator just to make it seen with x by 2, because you have x by 2 added and subtracted square. So now we have a perfect square. So you have y minus x by 2 whole square. What is that? Y square plus x by 2 whole square minus 2 into y into x by 2. So this is what I am doing. I am just taking y minus 2 into y x by 2 plus x by 2 whole square on one side and 1 minus x by 2 whole square on another side. So we'll take the perfect square on one side and this we take it here. So this will be negative 1 plus x by 2 whole square, which is negative 1. Negative 1 plus x square by 4. So what do you get? Negative 1. And then we have plus x square by 4. So this is x square by 4 minus 1 actually. So x square by 4 minus 1. So you're going to get x square minus 4 by 4. Okay. So this is x square minus 4 by 4. Okay. Now on the left hand side, as I said, it will be simply 1 y minus x by 2 whole square. Just whatever you have divided by 2 and square it, just put it here. So you have y minus x by 2 whole square. So finally you got this equals x square minus 4 by 4. Now you take the square root, that is take the, and x square minus 4 and square root of 4 is 2, and that will be plus minus. Now take x by 2 on the right hand side. So we will have y equals x by 2 plus minus under root x square minus 4 by 2. You can also take the denominator common because 2 is the denominator common. Now, as I suggested you that the domain and range, it is there. So the condition will only be fulfilled as our earlier discussions were there when you take the positive one. When you take the positive value, then only it will be there. Otherwise, x by 2 minus something will not correspond to the domain and range we are talking about. Right? I hope you got the idea. So 1 to infinity and 2 into infinity is important because whatever you are going to get, it has to be plus. X by 2 plus under root x square minus 4 by 2. So this will be x plus x square minus 4 by 2. Y is there. This is your f inverse x. Next question is question number 39 in my addition. So this question needs a lot of different kind of thoughts and knowledge, because we need greatest integer function. This is the answer in front of you, but I'll change it. There are certain changes also, and I'll explain wherever the changes are there. So gx is given as 1 plus x minus greatest integer function of x. So greatest integer function is basically the floor function. Now fx is given as it is kind of a step function, because we have minus 1, then we have 0 and 1. So minus 1 when x is less than 0, 0 when x is equal to 0, and 1 when x is greater than 0. That is, so we have to find out f of gx. So f of gx. So we will talk about gx first. Whatever value gx will give you, we'll put it inside this particular point, that is inside that bracket of f, and then we'll try to find out whether it will be minus 1, 0 or 1 depending upon the condition. So how to do this? Because this is there are variations here. So we have to divide this answer or the solution into 3 parts. First we'll take x as 0 or the value as 0. Then we'll go to the left hand side where x is less than 0. Then we'll take x as greater than 0. These 3, this you can say part we will take, and that is for fx. But we have to see gx also how it varies in these 3 partitions or in these 3 intervals. So this greatest integer function is only defined when we are talking about integers. So we are talking about integers here. we cannot have an open-ended value given to this greatest integer function. It has to be between certain two values integer, and correspondingly it will take the floor function, that is the lower value of the integer. So if we go less than 0, the first interval will be 0 to minus 1. Okay, I am taking the left hand side now. So gx will be 1 plus x minus, there will be one question in your mind, I'll just deal with that, because you are going from 0 and first integer which we encounter is -1. So what will happen between 0 and minus 1? Minus 1 will be taken because this is a floor function. Floor function always takes the lower value. So just put -1 here. Assume that we are going from 0 to minus 1, and this will take as -1. X will be -1 here. So 1 plus x negative, this is -1. So there will be a question, why are you not putting x as -1? Why you are not putting? Because x can take any value below 0. But we have to first tackle this greatest integer function, and that will be only between certain integers. So between 0 and -1, you are going to get -1. Any value you put in between this. So 1 plus x and minus is plus, 2 plus x you got. Now this 2 plus x is gx. This 2 plus x is value of gx. Now directly take this value and put it inside your fx. That is g in place of gx, 2x, 2 plus x, f2 plus x. Now forget everything and just see that you are adding something to x. You are adding 2 to x. That is, you are taking 2 and adding it to x. So you are actually talking about a value which is greater than 0. In this interval, if you talk about 0 to minus 1, okay, I'll tell you. Just put 0 and minus 1 and then see what happens here. Let us talk about 0 to -1 only, because we have taken this interval and we have talked about the greatest integer function between 0 and minus 1. So 2 plus 0, 2 plus minus 1. Once I'm putting 0, once next time I'm putting -1. So even if you put this 2, 0 and minus 1, you will get 2 and 1, which is greater than 0. So you get f as fx as 1, because x greater than 0, fx will give you 1. Now coming to x equals 0. So gx will be 1 plus x. You can put directly 0 here because x is 0. There is no partition here. It is direct value. Greatest integer function of 0 is 0. So 1 plus 0 is 1 only. So even if you put 1 plus 0 or 1 plus x, it doesn't matter because x is eventually 0. So as I said, 1 plus 0, this will be f1. And since x is greater than or equal to 0, you are going to get this is greater than 0. So again, you are going to get this value only, fx will be equal to 1 because x is greater than 0. So this is 1 and 1 for two partitions. Now coming to third interval. Now x is greater than 0. We are taking the value which is having interval x is greater than 0. So now x is greater than 0. So when you start with 0, what is the next value you are going to get? 1. And when you try to find out the greatest integer function between 1 and 0, it will be a lower value. Okay, it will be a lower value. And what will be the lower value? It will be 0. So 1 plus x minus. So what are you going to put it here? So you are starting with 0 and you are going beyond that. For first interval will be 0 to 1. Okay. So now put this 1 and 0, and 1 and 0 is the first interval. So the lower value will be 0. So 1 plus x minus, here greatest integer function of x, which is between 1 and 0, will give you 0. So the same discussion with 1 plus x goes here. F of gx, that is f of 1 plus x, and then you are adding something to 1, so it will always be greater than 0. So when x is greater than 0, and the value will be 1. The same in all these three cases, you are getting f of gx as 1. Right? I hope you got the idea. The answer is B. B1, which is. Next question is question number 40. So fx is equal to alpha x by x plus 1. X cannot be equal to -1. Then for what value of alpha is f of fx equals x? F of fx equals x. So you are essentially finding f of f. So wherever you have this fx, just take that value and put it inside this expression. That is, in place of x, I am going to put alpha x by x plus 1, numerator. Then coming to denominator, same thing. In place of x, I am putting alpha x by x plus 1. So you have alpha x by x plus 1, and here you have plus 1. So let us solve this, because for what value it is going to be equal to x, so we have to equate it with x. So what do you get? Alpha square x by x plus 1. Denominator you get alpha x plus 1 divided by x plus 1, and this is equal to x. Now cancel this x plus 1 from numerator denominator and just multiply this. So you get alpha square x, this one, and on the right hand side multiply x with this one, alpha x square plus x x. Okay, now here don't worry about alpha this x square, because the question is asking what value of alpha this of is equal to x. So let me just rearrange this, because I want alpha square to be your x square. So this alpha square you have to worry about. So just take all on one side, and then just take this alpha square x as the first value, because alpha square x is equivalent to your ax square, and a is x here, and x square is alpha square here. I hope you got the idea. This we have to take in front. Now multiply both sides with -1, because we cannot have a negative here. So ax square plus bx plus c we are going to match. A is x, x square is alpha square, because we have to find out what value of alpha. So quadratic equation will be in terms of alpha, not x square. So you have negative alpha square x plus alpha x square plus x square plus x equals 0. Now as I said, the coefficient of x square cannot be negative, so you have to multiply both sides by a -1. Multiply both sides by a -1. So you get alpha square x minus alpha x square, negative x square, negative x. You can also take this negative common, and you can write it also as x square plus x. This is up to you how you deal with this. Okay. Now alpha square is x square, alpha is x. So we'll use the Sridharacharya formula, which is minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a. What is b here? B is minus x square. B is your minus x square. And minus of minus b is, because minus b is minus x square. And since it is minus b, this negative will cancel out. What is inside? B square. B square is minus x square whole square. Minus 4 into a is your x. And your c is this negative x square plus x. So negative, I am just making it as positive. And then x square plus x will be there. And divided by 2a. 2 into x. Okay. So let us resolve this. One time we are going to take positive, one time we are going to take negative, and you will be get the simplification here, because inside we have x to the power 4 plus 4x cube plus 4x square, and this here we are going to take x square common inside this under root. That will make it much simpler, and ultimately you are going to get two values of alpha, which is x plus 1 and minus 1. How are we getting this x plus 1 and minus 1? So you have this x square plus minus this. I'm taking this under root because I want to simplify it. And since two value will come, and I'll tell you which value to discard and which value we have to take. So take x square common from here, because you can see x square can be taken common. All the terms have x square at least. So we have x square, one value x square plus, and one value x square minus. So x square plus minus, I'm taking x square common from under root. So x square plus 4x plus 4, and this is nothing but x plus 2 whole square. x square plus 4x plus 4 is x plus 2 whole square. Okay, so x square, and this is x plus 2 whole square, and this is inside your square root. So when it comes outside the square root, so when it comes out of the square root, it will be x into x plus 2 because it was x square and x plus 2 whole square. So you have x and x plus 2 divided by 2x. So 1 will be this, and when we take the negative sign, x square minus x into x plus 2. So the space is limited. So x square plus x square. Let us take x common and just first cancel it out from the denominator. So you have x, I'm taking common. So you have x plus 2. This 2x was there, so x gets cancelled. You have 2x plus 2, and 2 was already there. So you take 2 common, x plus 1, 2 gets cancelled. Okay, so x plus 1 will come. In the next one, x square minus x square and minus 2x. So minus 2x will be there. So x square and minus x square you can cancel. So negative 2x by 2x, so x gets cancelled, 2 gets cancelled, you have negative 1. So one time you will get x plus 1, next time you will get negative 1. So which you have to take? See, what value of for alpha for which you have f of fx as x. So if you take this alpha as x plus 1, it is already in terms of x. That is, you have not ignored or avoided x. X is already there, so you cannot say anything about this. But alpha equals minus 1 is the value because minus 1 is independent of x. X plus 1 is dependent on x. So you cannot take x plus 1, you have to take negative 1. Okay, so alpha will be equal to minus 1. So for the value of alpha, which is minus 1, f of fx equals x. As I said, if you said alpha equals x plus 1, it is already dependent on x. What is the value of x? We don't know. Okay, so we have to take an independent value, which is only possible negative 1 here. So alpha equals minus 1 is the answer. Okay, question number 41 here. So the distinct linear functions which map negative 1, 1 onto 0, 2 are. So there are 4 options. So there are linear functions, and question has already given you linear functions. fx and gx are given, and mapping is from negative 1, 1 to 0 and 2. So the onto means there should not be any number, a value remaining in 0 and 2. Every value of the second set should have an image, pre-image on the first set. So minus 1 and 1 should be mapped with 0 and 2 in any case. In any case. So the simplest way is to take the question one by one, A, B, C, D. D is actually none of these. So we'll take one by one, we'll put a proper value, and we'll see whether putting minus 1 will map it to 0 to 2, putting 1 will map it to 0 to 2. If it is there, then it is okay. So fx and gx, this is the first part, A I am taking. Fx is given as x plus 1, gx is given as negative x plus 1. So f of minus 1 is what? Minus 1 plus 1, which is 0, so it is matching. Now put 1. We'll go to gx later. This gx we are going to later, because first we have to talk about fx. Fx and gx are two different linear function which should show the mapping of minus 1 and 1 to 0 and 2. This is 0, this is x plus 1, and we have placed negative 1 here, for which we got 0 as the mapping. Now in place of in the fx only, we'll put 1 here. So in fx I am putting 1. So f1 will be 1 plus 1. In place of x, put 1. So 1 plus 1 will be equal to 2. Okay, so this is also mapped. So fx is working. Let us go to gx now. So whether it is working or not, because we need 1-to-1 mapping. So g minus 1 we will put, g1 we will put, and we'll try to find out 0 and 2. So g minus 1, that is minus of minus 1 plus 1. So negative 1 of 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So it is mapping. Negative 1 is mapping to 2. And what is 1 giving you? Negative 1 plus 1, and which is actually 0. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. This gives you 2. Negative is plus. So plus 1 is 2. This is going to give you 0. So negative 1 is matching with 2 and 1 is matching with 0. Okay. So now option A is correct. So you don't have to bother about other options. If you want to check for the others, there is a solution being provided to you, because you'll see that B or any other option will not be correct. This is your answer. And next question is your question number 42 here. Let f be 2 to infinity, and this is directed to x. So we have domain as to infinity, range as x, and this is defined by a function fx equals 4x minus x square. Then f is invertible if x equals. So this x is nothing but the range. So you have to find out the range. Okay. Because if you want to have a range, the function has to, if it is invertible, the range and codomain has to be equal. So let us find out the domain of invertible function or range of the inverted function. I hope you got the idea. See, y equals fx. This we have been doing. And there is one option which is provided to you. You see the left hand side, the solution is there. But I'll do it the way I told you earlier also. So we'll do it in the way of f inverse. We'll try to find out the inverse, and then we will try to find out for what value of x it is not valid. The both way you can do. The left way, the already solution is easier. But I'll find out the inverse and then tell you the value. So 4y minus y square, that is fy, equals x. So we will do what? We will put y on one side, and then we will take everything on the other side, and then we'll see for what value of x this fails, and that will be our domain of inverse, which is essentially the range of actual function. So 4y minus y square equals x, y square minus 4y plus x equals 0. Since this is quadratic, so as I said, just divide it by 2. This will be 2. So add 4 and subtract 4. This we have been doing since we started our discussion. This will be y minus 2 whole square equals, this side you can take x, negative x and 4. So this will be 4 minus x. So y minus 2 will be equal to, take the under root of this, plus minus also 4 minus x, then take 2 on this side. So you will have 2 plus minus under root 4 minus x. Now you see on the left hand side, right hand side, the solution already given to you, and this one, same thing. The way of doing it is different. Okay. The range and domain will change when you take the inverse. So this is essentially same thing we are doing. Now under root value cannot be negative. So 4 minus x has to be greater than or equal to 0. 4 minus x has to be greater than or equal to 0. So what do you get? X should be less than or equal to 4. So x has to be less than or equal to 4, or you can say when we are trying to find out the range, y should be less than or equal to 4. So essentially you are talking about the range of the function. It is, because it is less than 4, so it can go up to negative infinity. So we are talking about negative infinity to 4, even if you try to do it either way. Find the domain of inverse function or the range of the actual function. Same thing is going to come. So it will be valid when x is less than or equal to 4, because x is less than or equal to 4. So we are talking about negative infinity to 4, because it has to be less than 4. So negative infinity to 4. This is your final answer. The answer is C here. Okay. So there are two options in which, two ways in which you can do. The answer will be same. Answer is C. Okay, this question we are going to take in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.